depressing an experience as I've ever had going to movies.
Now, I know some people found this movie fun, but me, I'd rather spend 2 hours having root canal work done.
It's a terrible film from beginning to end.
You know the theory of reincarnation, where the dues we pay in this lifetime, we may get to collect in another lifetime. For having seen this movie, I want months and months and months in a beautiful valley.
Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, we give it a 3.
Well, maybe it wasn't that good. Let's give it a 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bombs Away, a bad movie comedy podcast. My name is Tyler Rowe. Joining me here inside the cyber studio, as always, is
Peyton Bieber.
And an amateur ass, not Jarrett Seifert.
God. We have put just as much effort into this intro as the director did into this movie.
Yeah, this one was probably the worst one I've ever seen ever.
Ever?
That's got to be a lie.
Maybe
You
not
mean for
ever.
the show?
You literally watched
The show out of the
your
three,
own
this
movie.
I have to say that this is low on the list.
Yes, this was a doozy.
I am patting myself on the back for Scooby-Doo being pretty good compared
Yeah.
to
Well,
these.
comparatively, that's like saying it's the shiniest turd out of all of them. Yes, welcome back. Thank you again for being here. Again, for those of you who are joining us, just for a preface, these past now 3 episodes have all been movies that have particularly not been very good, that we enjoyed from our youth or just have a nostalgic feeling for. And this week's episode happened to be my choice. So, why did I pick this movie? I don't know why.
Wait, you put us through that torture because you don't know why?
To be honest, I was like, no, this movie's funny, but I think the last time I saw it, I was like 6.
Oh, so it was funny when you were...
yeah, it was funny when it came out, but yeah, I don't think I've seen it ever since because, oh boy, this was a doozy.
It has very strong Nickelodeon vibes. Like if someone photoshopped this onto an orange VHS, I would be like, yeah, of course it's a Nickelodeon movie. But
Yeah, it's
surprise, it's actually
Disney.
Wow.
This
did not
is a
age well
movie-
either.
No, and big surprise that it's not on Disney Plus, right? Because this was rough to say the least. I laughed a lot, but like there's some shit in this movie that I was like, okay, yeah, I can see why Disney does not have this on Disney Plus. This is also about the same time that Disney produced Waterboy. So if it makes any sense.
Yeah, but Waterboy's good.
Jesus Christ. I can see why you like
Next week.
Evolution.
I won't say anything.
Hey, I grew up on Waterboy, so
I
probably
mean,
watched
I
it,
saw it
at
growing
least
up
10
too.
times.
I do like Waterboy, but
I think I saw it in theaters.
As a sports family, it was like one of the ones that was always on. So
oh geez. But yeah, without further ado, unless you didn't read the title of this episode, I chose Rocketman, not the biopic of Elton John with Taron Egerton or whatever his name is. No, with Harland Williams, Jessica Lundy, William Sadler, and Raven the Chimpanzee from 1997, directed by Stuart Gillard, whose only other of note directing job was he directed the 3rd Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, which I think most people agree is like the worst one.
Yeah.
So at least
so
he's
over
consistent.
2.
Yeah. With a budget of $16 million, which it did not make back. It lost actually almost $600,000. So it was like very close, but it still did not make its money back. No surprise. With a Rotten Tomato score of 25% and an IMDb score of 5.9. It's a certified turd. This is 1997's Rocketman. Let's get into it. So the movie starts like every good movie should, with a flashback with an annoying kid that I couldn't figure out if he was Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle or
He
not.
looked exactly like Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle. I was like, that can't be.
And it's not.
It's not?
It's just some kid. Yeah, I really thought it was Dewey for the longest time. Also, like big movie making sin, like why did the kid have to have a speech impediment that the adult character does not have? we get it. It's a kid.
Yeah.
But
To
it's
be fair, I had one, but it could have also just been pronouncing words wrong, where I said exploded and milk and pillow.
I said a pack and foffle. Foffle. I don't know how old I was.
pack.
I gotta
That's
get
so
my
precious.
pack from the classroom.
Oh,
I had my foffle on the way to class.
I never said any words incorrectly because I'm a perfect child.
Must be nice.
Yeah, right. So the movie starts with our main character, Randall, being locked inside of the dryer, looking out on a picture of Earth, saying, Earth looks like a giant blueberry.
which is wrong.
It doesn't. I don't know what blueberry he's ever eaten that looks like
It's
that.
supposed to be like the famous quote, "Giant blue marble."
Yeah, but I'm like,
deviates, and I'm like, well, that's not even a funny joke. You just didn't say marble.
maybe he eats like moldy blueberries.
I was gonna
they have,
say,
like, green on them. He's like, yeah,
It
looks
rolls
like
on the
those-
floor and collects white dog hair.
Those were the clouds.
It's got some dirt on it.
At first I was gonna be like, this is stupid. Like, the kid is playing in a dryer, but I did play in a dryer. It never got turned on, thankfully. The fun fact about this scene, though, is it was removed from the UK version to get an appropriate rating because it was dangerous to show to kids.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. This 42 seconds of this movie was removed, and it dropped this movie to a PG. Otherwise, it was going to be PG-13.
Wow.
Which
But
is
in America, it's okay to show.
Yeah. Well, it's
obviously.
because it's also like, how dumb are people in England that they're like, you got to remove that or we're giving you a PG-13. Like, I don't get that shit at all. This is one moment where I'm like, England, come on, get your shit together. It was going to get an R, but they removed all brushing your teeth scenes from the British cut. So they saved themselves there. In walks his mom. And at first I said, that woman looked a lot like Shelley Duvall. And then I went through IMDb and I said, oh, that's weird. I guess it's not Shelley Duvall. Shelley Duvall is in this film as his mom, completely uncredited.
That is crazy.
I don't know why.
For those of us who don't know who Shelley Duvall is, who's that?
Oh my
you
god.
know who Shelley
The
Duvall
Shining.
is. The Shining,
Okay.
Olive Oil.
She recently had an article come out about how horrible Hollywood ended up treating her. It was really good. It was a really good read.
Right,
Dr. Phil is an asshole. But
Oh yeah.
We all knew that.
Yeah, we all knew that. No,
he's part of it. It's a weird story, but it's really good. Read an article.
Read a book. Yeah, this is Shelley Duvall. I don't know why she's uncredited in this movie. She's literally in it for probably 45 seconds at the most, between her two scenes, but
She's
it's kind
got
of fun to
3.
see her. Yeah,
there's
I
a few
guess.
flashbacks.
Yes, that's right. She does. So let's give her a minute total in the film. I
That's about
apologize
it.
to
Thank
Mr.
you.
Ball. That was rude of me to assume that you're only in the movie.
You know, in the British cut, they accidentally added more scenes of her to bump it to a PG rating because it was just G.
They're like, this is the type of dental recognition we need.
Representation, yes.
Oh God. So
They
we
used some
cut-
the cut version of The Shining and just spliced it in. It's like,
this is when we jump ahead in time 20 years or so, and we're at NASA, and we notice that there is trouble in the landing module. They are crashing and burning towards what appears to be Mars. Apparently we in this current reality are far behind 1997 because they were already planning and were going through with a manned mission to Mars.
this is the second one.
Oh yeah,
Because it said one Mars mission later.
really?
In the jump forward, I believe it said one Mars mission later.
No, wait,
It's
because
like 20 years and one Mars mission later.
because later they do say that they're going to be the first man to walk on Mars.
Oh,
So
okay.
I don't
So
think
then
anyone's been there yet. This is
It's
gonna be
probably
the
just
first
rovers
one.
or something.
It
Yeah.
might have been a bad joke about him going to Mars in his washing machine.
Oh. that might be giving this movie just a little too much.
Right. I follow a lot of space stuff. It's fun to know that stuff. And so watching this movie just really just irked the hell out of me. And I know it's 23 years later or whatever, 24 years later, but still I was like, that's entirely inappropriate. I really doubt they're going to have hemorrhoid cream on the space shuttle, but sure, let's go for it. Let's keep
They
it.
might. You never know. You gotta be ready. You can't stop at CVS at 4 a.m. for your hemorrhoid cream.
Every little bit of weight counts.
Things happen in zero gravity, all right?
In space.
Yeah, you push your muscles out your
cream. You
Nobody can
prolapse.
squeeze one out.
But yeah, they're crashing into Mars. They can't calculate the z-axis, and they all die. And it's
that's it.
quite unfortunate. No, it's
my favorite short film.
It turns out, yeah, right. And it's just like, why was that kid in there in the beginning of the movie?
Was the kid one of the people? We'll never know.
Yeah, right. Turns out it's a simulation. Really lame, honestly. It's such a lame way of setting up that they're gonna have to find someone who can do these calculations for them, and it leads us to one of the most baffling space plots in any film ever. But we will get to that.
How does this astronaut, I forget his character's name, but how does this astronaut get this far into a mission and be like, I did the calculations correctly, clearly, and like obviously they're not, and he's just too stubborn to like fix it? Like, oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
He's like,
I just think it's supposed to be like, oh, he's an asshole. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I don't want him on the mission anyway, so good, get him out of here.
You know what this movie suffers from, and I just had an epiphany about it?
Everything?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
It literally suffers from Armageddon syndrome. The famous quote from Ben Affleck and Michael Bay of...
Ben Affleck was in Armageddon?
Oh, yeah, he's like the main character.
He's
I don't know if I've
Willis's
seen
daughter's
Armageddon.
love interest.
Yeah, but so famously, he asked on set to Michael Bay, he said, hey, Michael, wouldn't it make more sense for the miners to train astronauts how to do this than it would for astronauts to train miners to become astronauts? And then Michael Bay turned to him and said, Ben, shut the fuck up, and walked away from him. This movie literally suffers from that same thing of like, wouldn't it just be easier to get Fred to teach them the correct mathematics than it would be to make him an astronaut?
Yeah.
Well, he broke the guy's neck somehow.
He did kill that guy. He did kill that guy. That's right. We're getting ahead of ourselves. So we meet our hero, I guess.
I hate all of it. Like, doesn't know how to open a car door, so just keeps hitting the car next to him.
Hold on. We do get a great joke from this, though. He pulls in between two cars, and it's like slammed. He gets out, and he says, oh, I better take care of my anti-theft like system. And he takes one of the tires off of his car and rolls it into work. And I laughed really hard. That's super fucking funny to me, because it's like a play on when you take the front wheel off of your bike when you lock it up somewhere, you know?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I get the joke.
Damn, fuck you guys.
I didn't know that was a joke. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a play on
no. But also the rest of his car is completely open, and it's like they weren't going to steal your car. They were probably going to steal the wheels, which you've clearly demonstrated that they're easily removed, as well as everything in your car.
I have a theory that this movie was like a heavy inspiration for the Big Bang Theory, because it's like very clearly a character with some type of like spectrum disorder, but they never address it.
Yeah,
I don't watch the Big Bang Theory.
The first few seasons were actually really good.
Oh, Peyton.
But then it just trailed on.
All right, so now we're back down to two hosts, Jared and Tyler.
Peyton can never run for president now because he said he likes the Big Bang
Theory. Dang it.
He goes into his office and he's like, oh, 5 minutes early. This means I have 5 minutes to save the galaxy. And that chair is cool as fuck. You gotta admit.
It
he has
is a
like
pretty cool
a
chair.
super cool flight simulator chair, essentially, where he's playing.
It's an office chair with two joysticks attached to it. I wouldn't call it super cool.
You need to use your imagination a little bit because it's cool.
Oh no. I can't even respond.
I actually really like his whole desk. I like everything that's on his desk. It's really cool. But the Mars team comes in and they ask Fred about his program for the navigation system. And I do think it's really weird that right off the bat, they come in there and are like, hey, yeah, you wrote the program. Your program's wrong and it sucks and you're an idiot, you fucking moron. It's like, why did they come in with so much animosity about like that this guy's program is like incorrect?
Because plot, I don't know.
Also, I've seen Hidden Figures. It's trial and error. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Even if it was wrong, it's like, so what? Recalculate it.
Yeah,
But
and they
that's
say a
what
bunch of
trial runs are
science
for
shit.
too.
Yeah, exactly. And they say a bunch of science shit, and you're like, okay. And then Fred shows them why they were wrong. He's like, no, it's totally fine. You were just accounting for the wrong thing. And again, this is that whole thing of like, literally, he could have just taught them. It would have just been fine.
Yeah.
And the catalyst for this is he has this like, I don't know why he has a physical simulation instead of like a computer simulation.
I don't
has-
know how a physical simulation is going to make any difference when all it does is spin in a circle and then land.
Yeah, all it does is spin in a circle, stop, and lower. So
But
I'm like, all right.
He has the
Great
physical
Connect
model
set.
and the computer generated model going on too. So it's like two models going on. You're like, what do I pay attention to?
Yeah, so it spins around and it lowers, and it's like, see, you were accounting for gravity incorrectly. And again, that's that thing of like, he could have just taught them. You got to account for gravity like this. But the catalyst for this whole thing is the astronaut that he proved wrong.
The asshole-tronaut.
Asshole-tronaut. No, that's later. There's an asshole-tronaut in this.
I mean, they're both.
But
they're butt buddies.
He proceeds to be like, no, watch, I was right, your program's wrong, and the thing kills him. I don't know how
Pretty
getting
much.
hit in the head with that little tiny like metal connector set broke his neck.
I wonder if it was kind of like a punch to the face where like the body stayed but the head rotated and it like snapped
Dang,
the vertebra
he got
or
Looney
something.
Tuned.
Yeah, it's like
Damn.
I will say
he does get Looney Tuned later.
Oh yeah, totally. Out of all the movies we were talking on Scooby Doo, we were talking about how they have cartoon physics. This is the movie that has cartoon physics that everyone abides by.
Cartoon physics, so much so that I am fairly positive in several scenes when they are on Mars, there is no glass in their helmets.
Yeah,
I noticed that too.
I noticed that.
I think he leans his head out of his helmet at one point unintentionally, like the front of his hair comes out of it. So yeah, this is the most cartoon physics, especially with something that we're gonna get to much later of some crazy shit. We go to this is one thing. So like evolution, right? Evolution had scene ADHD. It could not stay in one scene for more than a few minutes. This movie does not do that. But what this movie does have is like character ADHD. It introduces you to a million characters and
A
really
million
never
old
explains
white
who they
men.
are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this right here is an old black guy.
Oh, this is Richard Webber from Grey's Anatomy.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Pickens?
Yes, that's his name. Yeah. He's like the head of NASA. And he's like, okay, it's not my fault you got a skull fracture from proving yourself wrong, which is pretty funny. But he's like, well, I guess you guys just can't do the mission. And this dickhead, who's like the mission commander or like on the ground, is like, 2 years? We can't wait 2 years. We want to do this right now. And I'm like, and Jarrett, you can attest to this since you're like a space guy, right? It's like, why? If you heard that there was an error, this movie is in 1997. This movie is 10 to 11 years after the Challenger disaster.
Well, that's what I was going to say is the Challenger is a perfect example of why you don't do that, because that happened with the Challenger.
Like, did they take time, or are you saying they just went for it?
They were
They just
like,
went for it.
we'll be okay.
Like,
It's
throw
gonna
a
be
teacher
fine.
on there.
Yeah. Oh no, I was I watched the whole. There was a recent Netflix documentary. It's kind of really sad, but really good. But it's like people brought things up that were like, might want to like check on this, and they're like, well, it's just like a minor problem, and it's like going to space isn't a minor thing. So minor
you're not going down the
problems.
street to the store.
Yeah, it's not like my low tire or my low pressure tires on or signals on.
My low pressure tire.
Like,
I'll make it.
but like, yeah, it's like I looked at my tires; they're fine. I'm sure there's a nail in it, but the nail's not like extremely leaking air. I'll get gas and then go get it checked or something. It's
Houston,
totally different.
the check engine light just came on.
It says the
maybe
oil's low.
Maybe you guys left the gas cap open. I don't know what the reasoning behind. Again, this part of the movie literally feels like you missed something, because they're just like, yeah, we're gonna send Fred to space. Like it literally, like
with another guy that they don't
tested
name.
him.
Yeah, but I'm like, there's no explanation of them like telling him. There's nothing of them being like, you're gonna go. It's just all of a sudden he's like, I'm going to space. Like what? Where? How did we get here? What is the? What's the?
This is the part of the movie where I got a little upset because he's talking to his mom, and she's like, "Oh, honey, I don't want you to go to space and die."
She said, "I don't want you to run away to Mars."
And he's like, "Mom, I'm just going to. I'm not even like for sure going to Mars, and I'm 30. I'm almost an adult." And I was like, my heart. I was like, I'm 30. Fuck.
Yeah, I felt that one too.
It really hurt. It really hurt. Like
right in the age.
I know.
Yeah. I got 2 more years till I'm an adult, so it's okay.
Oh, you're finally gonna be 21.
Aw, such a youngin'.
Got him. But yeah, so there's just so many shenanigans in this movie. That's what the first half of this movie really is.
It's shenanigans that are done because of bullying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and all of it is bullying, because the shenanigan I was just about to get on is he bumps into Bud, who is a mission command guy, and is outright like, "You're Bud so-and-so. You're responsible for the Apollo 13 disaster." Like,
yeah.
It's like, why would you say that to him?
Wasn't me.
That's my biggest problem with that movie too, is the overuse of the "it wasn't me" joke, where there are times where it's like, that's kind of funny. Like the other day I was on a boat with friends and I farted on the boat and everyone looked at me and I go, I think it was a fish. But you can't say that the entire boat ride, because then it's like, we get it, you're fucking blaming farts on a fish. It's not funny anymore.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so this movie abides by the rule, comedy happens in threes, right? But what they're abiding by is
The rule of
comedy happens
30s?
in multiples of 3. So it's even funnier if you say it 6 times and then 9 times and then so on and so forth, because he says "wasn't me" so many times.
If Jonathan was here, he would have counted. But
Yeah.
that's a different story.
Yeah, I don't have time to count.
I know. I don't either.
I was
I was
so
like-
annoyed. Even after like the second one, it's like, oh, this is going to be a thing throughout the whole movie, isn't it?
Because
And
it's
it was.
also, like I said, it's not even a good use of it at times.
Yeah,
No,
like,
there's a couple times where it's funny.
Exactly.
Most of the time it's not. So this is when we get to the monkey lab. You have to admit you laughed at this scene.
this is what it's like. It's going to be nice to sleep with you.
Yeah.
Ew.
I was like,
whole
oh,
scene-
no.
I don't know why this scene has good actual comedy in it. So they say, "Oh, this is gonna be your new roommate," and they introduce him to Julie, who's one of the astronauts. She's a geologist. I don't know how geologist also translated to she takes care of the chimpanzees that's going with them. Also, really don't understand their reasoning for taking a chimpanzee with them.
Oh, it was
But-
like he can find or like go in like the little caves to find samples underground or
But
something.
does he? No.
Yeah, but also
No.
like, listen, might be a controversial opinion, but I'm sure there's plenty of little people who would like to be astronauts as well that you could take on your trip instead of a chimpanzee to go into small places.
There you
That's
go.
real.
Equal.
So-
I guess they're not equal opportunity employers.
No, they're not.
That's why everyone was white. That's the other thing. I was looking at this group and I was like, you're never going to send just 3 people to Mars.
Oh,
Also,
no.
Mars mission or space missions are extremely diverse. There's always a Russian, and they didn't even manage to have one Russian.
Listen,
There's always a Russian.
all we're getting is a chimpanzee, and that's it. Okay,
No.
you can't ask her anymore.
They couldn't afford the Russian.
Yeah, exactly. It was too much money because they spent it all on getting the chimpanzee. Yeah, in the monkey lab, Julie steps out because she goes and talks with the other guy, and she's like, "This guy's a fucking moron. Like,
hate
why are
scenes
you
like
bringing
this."
him? You didn't like him slamming
No,
the
I
monkey
hate it
into all the
because it's
lab
like-
equipment."
Because all I think about is like how much he ruined on studies.
Oh, right. Like all
I think
those
they were all
samples and
piss
everything.
jugs.
I'm pretty sure that's how the Flash
That's
was
why he
created.
was licking his lips.
He's drinking all the piss jugs. Yeah.
Like, this monkey pee tastes great. He has a
I-
lot of inflections of someone that we know. So my voice of him is the exact same as someone that we work with.
No. Yeah, he slams him into all this stuff, and then when they turn around, they're like, "Look, they're getting along already." It's also told to us that he thinks Julie is going to be his roommate, but it's actually the monkey.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, wait, the monkey gets to live in an apartment?
It must be nice.
Oh my god! But that scene is kind of funny when they're both in the apartment. That's one of the
Yeah.
funny it wasn't me's.
See, that's what I'm saying. This movie has stuff.
It
I
has
also-
It has two
its
stuffs.
moments.
I keep wanting to say Harland. That's his actual name, but Fred talks to the monkey a lot. Just like he makes like monkey noises at him.
Oh
It's-
gosh.
Well,
I think it's racist to monkeys.
I was
Right.
gonna say it's like he's shouting monkey slurs at him. I
Well,
think is
the female doctor also did it. I don't remember her name.
Yeah,
either.
exactly.
I don't get attached to character names. I can't.
Her name's Julie.
Julie. Yeah,
I
Julie
only know two
started
character
it.
names in this: Julie and Fred. Everyone else, I'm like, I don't know.
Man
who they
number
are.
1. Man
Yeah.
number 2.
Captain. So this movie sets up a mythos that I'm quite confused on. Is that apparently all around NASA, it's just everything is space themed. They go to live in like space themed apartment homes,
I
and
don't
they go to
think so.
astronaut bars.
They also
like-
have like just unused rockets laying around the front entrance.
Yes.
Well, that's
think we're at
because of their
NASA.
filming location. They filmed at an aerospace technology place
thought
in
it was
Texas.
just I thought it was just the rocket themed fries that it's just around the corner.
Yeah, that was
The one
different.
across the street from work
That was
in
different.
Anaheim.
Yeah.
Like, you guys could use our full facilities. We're
They-
going out of business.
They had an insane amount and an impressive amount of on location filming.
What, fries?
Mars?
No, for like whenever they're doing the testing and stuff to see if he can be an astronaut. Like those are actual areas.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Which I
well,
was like, that's fucking crazy. That's
I personally think that's largely due to the fact that you look at this time in film, and there was a lot of movies about going to space because this is around the time that they were going to try to reboot the shuttle program after Challenger.
yeah.
So NASA was willing to help because it was basically good PR for them to have movies with actual NASA astronauts and stuff like that. where
Also, it's
they-
Disney. Like,
Well, yeah,
They should have
too,
shut
that-
this one down.
yeah.
This one probably cost them 20 years of research.
I heard they were going to theme Mission to Mars after this, or Mission Space, but
Oh,
then they were like,
gosh.
"Oh no, don't do it."
Just a fart joke in the middle of spinning around.
What's up?
I mean, you are in close quarters. so-
Initiate thrusters.
Wasn't
Wasn't me. So yes, when they go to his space apartment, this is Jarrett's favorite "wasn't me" moment where he kicks his shoes off.
I
and
didn't
it
say
breaks through
favorite.
the
I just said it was
Okay,
kind of funny.
It's funny. He kicks his boot through the window, and he's like, "Wasn't me." Okay, thanks.
he, like,
And
he blames it on the chimp,
yeah, he's like, "It was him."
and
It's like,
then
"Aw." Oh yeah, I forgot to mention before anyone comes at me, it's a chimpanzee. Okay, I'm just saying monkey because it's funnier.
Yeah.
So then something happens between him and the chimp, and he's like, "I can't stay here. This is too hostile. I'm going out."
Yeah, and he goes to a bar where his new
Stupid scene
colleagues
again.
get him hammered.
The blast off.
Yeah, the blast off, which is like a stack of shots on fire.
I think it's 6 shots.
Is it 6? Oh my gosh.
It's either yeah, 'cause it's a 1, 2, 3, but it could have also been a 1, 2, 3.
I think it was a 4. Yeah.
I think it's 4,
But
but
then it would have been 10 shots.
they're like, hey, if he dies of alcohol poisoning, that means he can't go to space. So let's do it.
And Julie comes in. She's like, "It's not okay to get someone this drunk." I'm like, "Yeah, that's exactly
Thank you,
it."
voice of reason. Where have you been this whole movie? Yeah, they get him drunk, and then he proceeds to start dancing in this spacesuit that they took off the wall of this Chili's, and he's like smacking everyone with the tubes, and then he physically assaults Julie in front of everyone at the
Oh
bar.
yeah. Jeez.
No one does anything about it.
And then we get the test going, and we're introduced to another character that doesn't even get a name, I think.
Oh, the guy that he's going against?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they put him in that deprivation tank from Stranger Things.
The isolation chamber.
Yeah, the isolation chamber. And they're like, you're going to be in there for 24 minutes or 24 hours.
Oh my God. Can you be alone for 24 minutes? Oh no.
Not with these thoughts.
I was literally about to say that.
Kill him.
But THOTS.
So there's another guy in an adjacent isolation chamber.
Which
and
honestly, for group photos, he would have looked so much hotter.
Oh my
Like, think
God.
about the history. Think about the impact.
I'm really like, okay, what is isolating about these chambers if you can hear the person in the one next to you?
Because in
How is
space, your neighbor is the only one that can hear you scream.
Oh my gosh.
Again,
Also, can you
I hate
eat
to-
and drink and pee in these? Like 24
No,
hours
I
is a
think you're
long
just
time.
locked in there for 24 hours.
What if you have to pee or poop?
Yeah.
Piss your pants, baby.
There's a corner, I guess.
That's what the piss lab is for. they bring out the mop in these rooms and put it in the piss lab. Yeah, Randall proceeds to commit war crimes in this tank where he like tortures the guy in the one next to it by like talking really loud.
John
yodeling.
Jangle Jigger Hallersmith.
That part made me laugh.
was
Again, I
pretty
hate
funny.
when it makes me laugh, but the other guy like loses his mind. And he's actually been awoken as a sleeper cell now. Those were his activation words. He like killed a bunch of people in like, I don't know. I forgot what I was trying to think of a country where we like established a coup where I could say a sleeper agent.
Venezuela.
Probably throw a dart
Venezuela.
at a map and name one.
That is true, yeah. Yeah, so then this is kind of, it's like a training montage, but each scene is kind of long. And honestly, this is the bulk of where the funny is of this movie.
This is the humor 30
This
minutes.
this is also, like you were saying, the movie doesn't suffer from ADHD. It just like kind of keeps sitting in these scenes
For too long.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
there's quite a few
This could have been a
scenes.
quick montage, but it's like it's drawn out because each thing that he does, like there's the deprivation or the isolation chamber, and it's like that scene alone takes probably 3 minutes because they're just trying to get jokes in, and it doesn't seem like a lot, but then you're sitting there and you're like, I get it. I know these jokes because it's like, oh no, I'm stuck next to this person, and those
Yeah,
are all the
well,
jokes they make.
I wasn't upset because I was having a good time.
Yeah, at least
You
one of us was.
curmudgeon.
Yeah. After the John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt stuff, I was like, okay, this is old. I get it.
So then we get the centrifuge training.
Is this the spinny wheel or the circle?
This is the in a circle
onion rings.
The forces. This is not onion rings.
Okay.
No, this is the spinning thing, and the guy who he tortured gets out, and he's like, "Oh, good. Like, don't think about that head cheese and liverwurst sandwich you had for lunch." And then he like vomits, which does lead to kind of a funny, very kind of semi-subtle joke later. But there is a joke here that I want to touch on. only because there's a funny trivia thing about it. He says Fred's getting, latched up into this centrifuge, and they say, like, all right, have fun. And he says, fun is my Chinese neighbor's
Oh my
middle
gosh.
name. Okay, hear me out.
Ooh.
According to the trivia,
Okay.
Yep.
Towing a line here.
no. Disney was worried that this joke was going to be offensive to Chinese audience members.
Oh, they were correct.
So they screened it to a screener group of all Chinese moviegoers, and the joke fucking landed so hard. They all bust up. They said it was like the biggest laugh that they got out of this group was this joke.
That's
I
surprising.
think they weren't that upset because of what comes in a few minutes later now. And they're like, oh, in the grand scheme of things, that joke was nothing.
Yeah.
But that is a fairly innocuous joke. It's not that bad, but I do like that Disney specifically was like, this is not going to go over well. And they like screened it for him. And then they're like, no, that's fucking funny.
Let's screen it now and see what people think.
Yeah, right.
Disney re-releases Rocketman in 4K Ultra HD.
Disney announces they will be retheming Splash Mountain to Rocketman.
From one racist thing to another.
Yeah. So he gets spun around in the centrifuge. He's like, go faster, go faster.
No, well,
Oh my
kind of,
God.
but then also the main pilot of the journey is also like, I'm gonna crank it up because I want to kill him.
My
I don't
record's
think
6 Gs, so we're gonna kill him.
Yeah, it's like, I don't think a centrifuge is run by a large comical knob like that. Like,
do
where it
like
says
the
like
idea of it, though.
numbers.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go to NASA and ask him.
It looks like the switch on a Sibian vibrator that they put on there. Like, dial up to 25. It's like a small car now in your living room. I laughed really hard at this whole scene. I'm sure you guys didn't. I don't know.
No.
The chair
'Cause-
comes off of the centrifuge and
Okay,
he blows
he's-
through a wall.
He's at 7 Gs. I think he's dead when he hits that wall.
Yeah, and he blows through the wall and he's flying through these hallways. And
in order for a person to die, I think they need to run at minimum 17 miles an hour into a brick wall, and then they can
he's
kill
dead.
themselves. So
Well,
if you're going
see, that's where
17
you're
miles an
wrong.
hour into
this
a brick
wall was made of paper.
Well, then when he hits the next guy,
I mean,
Oh,
the
yeah, they
studs
both
in those
die.
walls.
both dead.
That's that Looney Tune. He does a flip in his wheelchair. It's like boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
It's supposed to land on his head. He's like very clearly about to land on his head and lands on his wheels. But he blows through the hallway. He blows past this group of nuns with students, and he says the Lord's Prayer as it flies by him.
That was pretty funny.
See? And then the guy who like got knocked out earlier, I guess he can finally walk. He's no longer paralyzed. And he hits him and he launches him into a door and he flips, lands on his wheels, and then Fred just gets out of the chair and goes inside. It's like, wasn't me. Is that the other wasn't me that you laughed at, Jarrett?
No, I said I only laughed at one.
Oh, I thought you said you laughed at two.
No,
That one
I
was
don't know.
pretty
There's
good,
probably
too.
a second one in there.
Um,
It has to involve a fart. That's when it's funny.
There's a lot of farts in this movie,
Oh,
so
yeah.
don't worry. Again, more NASA training. They're training their lung density, depth, whatever it is. They're blowing a ping pong ball, and man, Randall blows because like
He does.
he manages to blow the
Yeah, I
ping pong
watched the
ball.
movie.
He manages to blow the ping pong ball out of the tube, and then he starts choking on it, and then he hawks it into the guy who he tortured's eye, and now he has an eye
Like broke
patch.
his eye or something.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's like what terminal velocity was that ping pong ball going?
Dude, that thing ricocheted off like 20 things before it killed that guy.
Yeah. It was like, dunk, 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 dunk. Also, though, it's a ping pong ball, and the guy acted like he got hit with a cue ball.
It's a golf ball.
No, that's a ping pong ball.
I know. I'm saying they're using golf balls this day.
He also
I
kicked
do-
that guy in the balls. And
Yeah, he did kick him.
I'm pretty sure they're like, okay, guys, let's reset the test after you recover your ball fracture there.
Well, that's why I think this guy, right? Hear me out here. Randall is much like Jar Jar Binks with the whole Sith Lord Jar Jar Binks conspiracy theory, because what if he's actually not dumb and he knows they're trying to sabotage him going to space, so he sabotages them?
Oh,
Nah,
I see.
Really makes you
I don't
think.
buy it.
If he like pulled like a really smart moment, well, he does every once in a
He
while.
does. He
I mean,
saves the
true.
day.
He's knows how to program shit. Like he is
Yeah.
smart. That's what makes me also mad about this movie is like he's really smart, but like for some reason he's a huge idiot.
He's a
That's
big
why I'm
man
saying
child.
this suffers from, and it's like the proto Big Bang theory is like, no, I don't know why Hollywood, even still, as we see 24 years later, does not understand what nerdy people are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
They're like, oh, if you're nerdy, you're like on the spectrum, right? Like that's it.
you're
Like,
really weird and awkward.
You get diagnosed the first time you buy a Funko Pop, right? Like that's how it works. So we go to this press conference, and there's a few kind of funny subtle jokes in this movie. And one of them in it is that this BBC reporter keeps trying to ask a question and no one will let him talk. Everyone keeps talking over him. And he's like, oh, and like just sits down and gives up on asking any questions. It's like small sight gags that this movie could have really benefited from, but instead it's like, let's have a man beat a monkey in a piss lab or whatever. But this is when the NASA guy that we talked about earlier says that Randall is being chosen to go onto the mission.
This was kind of funny.
I am pleased to announce the appointment of astronaut and third crew member of the historic manned mission to Mars, astronaut Fred Randall.
When he starts screaming,
He's like,
he's like, I liked it. I thought that was really funny.
It was very like lady way too excited to be on not Wheel of Fortune. Ooh, Price is Right.
Price is
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
running up and down the aisles. That's what they
I
should have
have-
done. They should
That
have like
would've
run
been
up and down
funny.
the aisles, like high fiving everybody.
One of my childhood friends was on Price is Right, and she, like, you know, the when you, I guess is that the showcase when you put your price in and then they're like, come on
big deal?
down.
Yeah, it's like a big package thing.
Well,
wait.
they're like, guess what this price is, and you put your price. Everyone bids high or low, right? It's like the first part of the show before you go spin the wheel.
Oh,
She put her price in, and then Drew Carey was like, and the price was, and he says it, and I guess she thought he said her price, and she started jumping up and down, like went up there, and he's like, no, not you, her. I was like, this is on live television.
dang.
Wow, you probably had some good educators then.
Those California public schools, man.
Yeah. Glad I'm from Missouri.
Oh God!
For once in my life, I said that.
Uh-oh.
So yeah, they it's all of a sudden launch day. This movie is quick. They're like, we don't want to bother you. You came here for two things: to see an idiot go into space. So he's walking up there to he does the elevator thing, and there is a touching moment here where Bud, the guy who was blamed for Apollo 13, explains to him that he was given 3 coins.
Bud is Bridges. Bo Bridges.
Yeah, Bo Bridges. Yes. I probably should have put
Weirdly
him
the most famous person in this movie.
I know. I should have put him instead of the chimpanzee, but I thought it was funny to say that.
Like Shelley Duvall and him are the most famous people in this film, but like Bo Bridges is really lately listed. Bo Bridges is really lately.
So Bud is explaining these coins to Randall. He says he was given 3 coins during Apollo 13, one that he gave to Neil Armstrong, one he gave to some other guy, and then one for bravery, and he kept it for himself. But due to how he acted with that entire situation. He doesn't really feel like he deserves it, so he gives it to Randall. And then Randall does a incredible impression of the Cowardly Lion.
It was really good, but I really hated this scene.
It's a dumb scene, but it is really good. There's 2 times that he sings in this movie where I'm like, this is the wrong movie for you, man. Like, you actually have talent. So they get in the spaceship. They're getting ready to take off. Randall reassures the chimpanzee not to be scared. They have a very cute relationship. And they're going over the like checklist. And they're like, I don't know, space jargon. Give me some of them.
We got the CBD, check. We got the AT. We got the ABD, yeah, check.
And then meanwhile, while they're saying all these things, he's just in the back being like AT&T, KFC, YMCA, BMW, NBC, CNN. Just like going, they're like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I don't know."
Also, another thing where it's like they wouldn't have wasted a person that does nothing.
Yeah, I know.
Takeoff.
I think Carly asked that question while we were watching the movie. She was like, shouldn't he know how to do something else?
Right? Should he like programming or like initiating the program or something? I don't know.
He takes his helmet off and dies, and that's the end of the movie.
Really? That's true.
Carly was like, wait, why do they have to wear their helmets in the first place? I was like, I think it's because if it depressurizes in there, they need to like, you know, be able to breathe the air from those. But yeah, he takes his helmet off and dies.
Yeah, it's like going up in scuba diving. It's like going up too fast and get the bends or something?
Yeah. So the monkey pulls some pranks. There's some food eaten out of tubes that is not food. Julie eats toothpaste. The commander
impression, like what is it, rabies?
Yeah. The Old Yeller joke is pretty funny. He's like, "Hey, Julie's doing her impression of Old Yeller."
Yeah. It's like, I don't want him to die, Ma.
Yeah, it is pretty much. She's all foamy at the mouth, and then the captain eats a hemorrhoid cream. And then it is insinuated, because we saw it earlier, that Randall eats a
laxatives.
Laxative. And then he's like, I got a shit.
I guess in space people get constipated.
You do. That is
in space, no one's able to hear you poop because you can't.
I heard in space you are in like eternal discomfort, gastrointestinal discomfort.
I can see that.
I'm in space?
Yeah, right. No, you burp. You are not in space.
No, I know. Well, it doesn't mean I'm not in internal gastro.
Yeah. Stress, yeah.
I guess the gravity, like no gravity on your intestines.
Yeah, it can't carry it up, so you can't burp, I guess. But I do like when Randall gets sucked into the toilet.
Oh, by the way, so the little accordion door on the bathroom, man, if you have a stinky poop, the rest of the crew is going to know.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I went to the doctor this morning, and right before I went into the doctor's office, I farted in the car, and it had some heat behind it. It smelled so bad, and I was like, I better get these out before I get into the exam room, because I'm going to be so embarrassed if I'm in there by myself and I do it, and he comes in, he's like, God damn, I'm not checking his stomach, am I? So we're about to get to the scene that made me select this movie. The president comes on for an address. He's talking about this is, you know, a big step for the whole world. And then we get the whole world scene where they sing, he's got the whole world in his hands. And honestly, it's a very funny scene until one moment that we won't talk about too much because it is horrifically racist and is probably why this movie is not on Disney Plus, where he proceeds to do some very stereotypical racist Chinese while singing the song. And that's
I don't think they bothered to translate the song in any language.
No.
So it's like, hey, way to insult the entire world as you're singing a song about the world.
He does speak real French, and he does say that there's a butterfly on the table. Is what he says. So he speaks real French, and all he says is there's a butterfly on the table. And then for the Germans, he just says like IKEA, Volkswagen, and all that shit, which is that
IKEA isn't German.
Yeah, I know, that's what makes it even funnier. But then it derails after that. So Julie and Fred have this. This is when they're gonna drop. Like, he has a crush on her. He's a stalker. He actually has a picture of him taped with her next to it. And they bond over the fact that they had a star that they loved. And this is another, that second scene I was talking about where he sings a song and it's just fucking like, dude.
Oh, when you
you're
wish
in the
upon a
wrong
star?
movie. Yeah, when he
Dude,
sings.
he's good at impressions. That was a good Jiminy Cricket impression.
He's a decent like comedian, and he's funny in other stuff, but like it's just annoying of a character this time.
Have you ever seen him in Employee of the Month?
No.
Where he's wearing these fucking huge glasses. It's so stupid.
He's really good in Superstar. The Mary Catherine Gallagher movie.
God.
It's so good. That's a good movie.
So, again, a scene that I personally love. They're going to go into cryopods, and really it's very plain drawn out, but the monkey gets in Randall's cryopod, and there was a specific monkey one that he can't fit into. So he stays awake for the entire 8-month journey that it takes to get to Mars, and he goes insane. But
he does, and then he gets back sane.
Yeah, but this gives him time to talk to Bud about how he's been running the calculations on the weather, and they've been concerned about a storm hitting while they're there. And he tells Bud, hey, we're going to hit a storm when we get to Mars. It's going to be bad. Bud goes and warns the guy who's running the mission, and the guy's basically just like, yeah, fuck you, who cares? And then it moves on from there. So now we have, a central conflict behind us. 45 minutes into this movie, just about, it decides, so far this has just been a fun romp. We better add some drama to the movie because otherwise it's just going to be a goofy, stupid movie.
Which it is.
Yeah, it is. They wake up. Randall painted a Monkey Sistine Chapel painting on the ceiling out of all of their food.
Where he's cradling what's her name? Julie?
Yeah, he's cradling Julie, and he's reaching out to the monkey, which is great. Jared, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, you just haven't said anything in a while. I wanted to make sure that we weren't hearing.
No,
it.
it's just there's nothing that creative or innovative to respond with on this moments, because it's like, oh, these are all expected jokes.
Yeah, no. Okay, I just want to make sure.
It's a flatline moment of the movie where it's like, just like, I get it. He's going crazy on his way to Mars. And then I get it. This is the fallout of them being like, oh, you wasted food supplies, like, for us. And this is also that part where I'm like, oh, God, they only take what they need. And he just wasted. Like, they should not have any food left at all.
They should have been
be zero food.
They're starving on the way back, basically.
It's not even there's no repercussions to it.
Yeah.
It's literally never touched on again because they do something that I'm like, what? Huh? What? Where they're like, they made Mars so scary. She turns and she's like, we're here. And then they showed Mars and the music's like,
oh yeah. It's like this deep red color.
Yeah, it's so scary.
It was originally the red planet.
Well, it still is, but it's
planet.
like
now it's like the orangish blue planet.
It's the blood moon.
So they begin their descent to Mars. There's a communication shutdown, blah, 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 blah. They make it. The commander wants to be the first man on Mars, and Randall like falls out of the lander and lands on Mars first. And he was like, do you know how big of a deal that was for me? I wanted to be the first man on Mars. And he's like, how would you like to be the first man killed on Mars?
That was actually a good joke.
And then he says, okay, Mr. First Man with inappropriate anger on Mars. And I was like, that's pretty good. That sounds like a Jarrett joke.
Well, you would be the first man to murder on Mars.
Yeah. And then they get in a Mars car. They drive to where they need to go.
With spray painted silver tires.
Yeah. This was all filmed in Utah.
That's why gravity was so normal. So I actually looked it up. Gravity on Mars is 3.1 meters per second squared. Earth is 9.8 meters per second squared. So we're looking at like I don't know.
Okay, for all of us morons, explain what that means.
So basically, the gravity on Mars is a third of what we experience here, which means they should be quasi floating. I believe that's what that means.
Oh, so every time they take so it would be kind of like the moon. You're weightless essentially, almost weightless.
Almost weightless. You weigh a third of what you weigh here on Earth.
I wish.
Right.
That helped me with my diet.
So like when they throw the flag in the crater and it just goes straight down, like
it should have floated up into space.
Happen.
Well, that wouldn't have given us the post-credit scene, which I didn't know if you guys know.
Oh, I didn't even know there was one.
Oh
So,
no,
we'll get to that at the end. It's so dumb.
I'll have to go back and watch it.
I'm
Turns
not
out-
going to do that.
This movie literally at this point is like throw every problem possible at them. Randall has a link in his air tank, so they need to connect their suits together. And I'm sure Jarrett liked this part. I was literally sitting there like, Jarrett likes this part. He starts farting in his suit and it starts filling his suit up and pushes like a huge fart bubble towards the commander's suit. And he like pinches it off and he's like, don't do it. And it goes in his suit and he's like, oh, it smells awful.
My eyes are burning.
At that point, I would have just opened the hose and been like, yeah, you can suffer or I'll die. I don't care.
And he
I'm
would
not
look
breathing
like
in your ass air.
he would look like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Total Recall when his eyes like popping out of his head. He's like, oh! This is his suit inflates. He has like a fart inflation fetish. It's like two fetishes rolled into one. And then everyone is mad at Randall because he's correct. The commander is mad that Randall is like, do not go out there. The weather projections, we're gonna die. And then for some reason, he's like, rocks are important, so I need to go. And he leaves. He gets kind of like semi-knocked out there. And
with Ulysses the monkey.
With Ulysses the monkey. And meanwhile, Julie is like MIA for the rest of the movie, essentially. She's just in the ship.
Julie was like, I'm going to drop you boys off to take care of the flag. Meanwhile, I have to go and get some core samples as well as some other shit. So like she's doing real work and they're setting up a piece of fabric.
Yeah, they're laying claim
like,
for
what?
a Taco Bell to be built there in 35 years. So he goes back out, and then again, this is when we get this unearned romance.
I hate this romance so much.
She kisses Randall so that he's like inspired to go out there, and he saves the commander. The commander is underneath the Mars rover, like the Mars car, and he's trying to lift it, and he's like, sometimes when a mother is in distress and she sees her children are hurt, she's filled with strength and she's able to lift things that are normally too heavy for her. And he's like, I need you to call me mommy. And he's like, I'm not calling you mommy. Leave me here. He's like, you have to do it. And he's like, mommy. It's like, no, say it like you mean it. Say it like I have to save it. He's like, save me, mommy, save me. And he proceeds to lift the Mars rover off of him.
Which, once again, gravity. So
I know, it shouldn't have been a problem. It's like lifting shit underwater.
He just wanted a kinky moment where he called him mommy. Like,
yes, daddy.
So they go back. And then for some reason, Randall doesn't get back inside, so they have to go rescue him again. Like I said, this movie's like really padding its runtime at this point.
Oh, he gave up his oxygen for the chimp to have oxygen.
That's right. So he's going like space.
He's holding his breath, but then the commander guy makes it back to the space shuttle before he does, and he left before the commander did. And so he's just like roaming around the shuttle, like, oh, where's the ladder?
Well, there was a storm going on, so he might have gotten a little confused.
I think he got like disoriented. So
yeah, I mean, if I held my breath that long,
yeah, right. Yeah. They bring him back on the ship. They rescue him. He does CPR on the monkey, and the monkey was just pretending, and then kisses him. Real funny. I don't know how to say. They take off and they take a hit. And this goes back to a scene that's earlier where
the onion rings.
Yes, the onion rings, one of those centrifuges that you see at amusement parks that you like could pay $15 to be spun around in.
I really want to go on one.
Really? Those things are deadly.
Yeah, I don't want to be in those.
I don't care. Cut my arm off. At least I'll have fun doing it.
Jesus.
Yikes.
This is a new Saw trap. You must rewire the Mars lander before your arms are cut off in this onion ring. So as they're free falling, he rewires it. Wow. Cool. Do we get to see them go back to Earth? No, I think they die because this ending reminds me of Grease, where now all of a sudden you have this dream sequence where they have tuxedos and dresses and they dance to When You Wish Upon a Star together. So I think they crashed back into Mars and they died. And this is their like death dream.
I kind of would rather them be dead at the end of this movie.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Just think if Randall had been put on the Challenger, we could have avoided this whole movie.
Oh no.
Well, that was a fun bombs away run. I'm glad we're getting canceled now.
We're shut down after that.
How is we make 9/11 jokes all the time?
Challenger,
Challenger
no, I do
jokes?
not.
Yeah,
I make neither jokes.
They're like, don't touch on the Challenger, guys. Not even
because the Challenger was innocent. They were trying to do good things.
That ship never did any wrong.
They're gonna say that ship never did sail, and I was like, well, yeah, we saw
leave the Challenger alone.
Oh my god! Yeah. So they go back into their cryopods. Lo and behold,
cryopods.
The monkey takes his pod again, and he doesn't get into it. And the last joke is like, "Not again."
Okay,
Credits.
He dies.
Yeah, he dies.
He used all his food. To paint the 16
shit,
chapel.
That's right.
They're gonna wake up and be like, "Ooh, an emaciated corpse."
Yeah.
Like,
also, I wonder what kind of deterioration would happen to a body like that without any sort of like bugs and stuff to like
actually,
eat
I don't think it would.
It.
I don't think it would decay.
What would his
body
do?
Because there's no air.
Body to space. I want to see what happens.
Shoot it through the toilet.
Yeah.
Well, if it's in
not even to space, just into an environment with like
zero
microbes and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think it would break down. That's
because
cool.
it would freeze in space because there's
but see, I'm saying in like the space station, like specifically for this guy, like what would his body look like? What would happen? What would it do
in a vacuum
after 8 months?
Nothing.
I'll have to look it up. I'm curious.
Yeah.
So, one thing we forgot to mention, but I have to bring it up because I'm going to talk about the dumb post-credit scene, is that after he throws the American flag into the crater, he proceeds to somehow take his underwear off out, and he has American flag underwear.
Oh, yeah.
And they fly those on this stick. Now, the post-credit scene, there is an alien.
I knew it.
Wearing the American flag as underwear. That is Rocketman 1997. Fortunately, the best part of this movie is you do get to hear the movie the song Rocketman at the end during the credits. It's the best part of the movie because Elton John is great and that is a good song.
The only redeeming point about this movie.
Right? Yeah, right. That's it. That's Rocketman. We're starting out strong in the first 3 episodes of this show's new season.
Yeah.
That brings us to the Jaws scale. Peyton, let me
Jaws 4. Like,
oh god!
Right off the bat, Jaws 4. This thing is
okay.
It has its moments, but I don't think it's enough to give it a 3.
Okay.
Did I enjoy it a little, a smidgen? Yes, but not enough to give it a 3.
Okay,
a 3.5, if you will.
The making of Jaws 3. All right, Jarrett.
I mean, I give it a Jaws 3, and I've seen Jaws 3.
Okay.
I watched that one.
That's the gay one.
Yeah. Oh no, that brother is entirely gay. I swear to God, he's just playing in the water with the girl just to be like, "Ooh, we're friends."
I'm not gay.
Yeah. No, it's a Jaws 3. I'm not gonna watch it again. I watched it once. I know I watched it as a kid, and I was like, "That's kind of goofy. That's funny." As an adult, it's like, if I wanted to entertain a kid and have. You know what? No, I wouldn't even show it to a kid because there's better movies about space now.
Yeah.
Damn. Jaws 3, but I don't think it's horrible, but it's not good.
Jared's like, I would rather show them Zathura.
Hey, that's actually kind of a fun movie.
I know. Yeah. I like Zathura.
I was like, shut up.
That was
it's no Jumanji, but like it's good.
Yeah.
And as for me, I don't know.
You can't do that.
I'm in like turmoil because
I refuse to accept that answer.
I do agree with both of you. I I don't want to give it a 4 because I didn't hate every minute, but looking back on this, I'm
I
like,
will say I watched this movie with my friend Mary Jane.
oh,
So-
that might make it better.
It really didn't. And
Maybe
that was
the
my
nightmare-
intention too. I was like, maybe this will make it fun. And I was like, no, I've seen it as a kid. Nothing's changed except for me.
I don't think that'd work for me.
No.
I watched this movie with my good friend the Mushroom.
Papa
I
Smurf was
watched
here.
this with my friend. She's a heroine. It's like, oh,
This movie helped me ride the dragon. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to give it a 3 on principle. It's closer to a 4 than it is a 2, but it's a 3. It's pretty bad. I think it's fair to say I don't even need to ask any of you if you would recommend this to anyone because it's definitely a no.
no.
So
it's super rooted in its time. It didn't even get the sci-fi aspects correct in the way that sometimes, like 2001: A Space Odyssey, there's some things that it did predict correctly. There's a lot that it didn't predict well, but it's still like a good movie to watch. It didn't, obviously it wasn't going for a sci-fi thing, but it really failed on aging.
yeah, no, I agree. And the humor is pretty. The opening of the movie is humor that I would be like, yeah, go for it. But there's really no humor after the midway changing point.
Yeah.
It's like when he farts in his suit, and that's about it.
It's an Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. You stop it halfway, it's actually a pretty decent movie.
Don't you ever say that again. Ever. Ever. I
Indiana
love
Jones
Indiana
and the
Jones
Crystal
and the
Skull.
Kingdoms of the Crystal Skull.
It's a good movie until it's like confirmed aliens. You're like, okay, if
hold on.
that's...
I don't want to get people too hyped, but we are covering that movie.
I know. I was like, can we save
in the
that for
near
that
future?
episode? Because
So you and I will like
I
spar
have a lot to
about
say
it.
about ants.
We'll,
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for sticking through it with us for Rocketman. If you want to go watch it, I don't know why. It's on Amazon. You can rent it. If you have it
How
already,
much is it?
It was $3.99.
Too much.
Too much.
Because I rented it today. So
What?
yeah, I know. I gave you guys the movie, and then it wouldn't play on my TV, and I was trying to watch it on the TV, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'll rent it," which is embarrassing. So that does it here for us at Bombs Away. Join us next week for the first
In 2 weeks.
Bargain Bonanza. Oh yes, let me say that again. That does it here for us at Bombs Away. Join us in 2 weeks for the first Bargain Bonanza. Again, that is, we are going to be covering 3 movies. It's not going to be a longer episode. It's going to be the same amount of time, 30 minutes per movie. And I don't think we've said anything about this.
Do we want to tease the movies?
I'm just going to,
Just
I'll
say
the
one
three
word
of
from each title, but say what they're from.
I'm just going to say the theme is we're covering 3 Disney Channel original movies.
Ooh.
Not Halloween Town.
Not Halloween Town. I will say it's this. It's a beloved one that every time I told someone we're doing it, they were like, that one's great. And I'm like, no, it's not. It is a forgotten bad one. And then it's another bad one. So
I don't know which one's which.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, right?
confusing.
Yeah.
All I know is the main character of one of them got super buff and super hot.
That could be either. That could be any of them.
Huh.
Oh, no, I'll bring pictures. I'll bring receipts.
One of them is directed by LeVar Burton. I'll give you guys that little hint.
Ooh.
So
One of them
yes.
has a classic movie actor that somehow ended up in that film.
Also
Poor
not
guy.
Halloween Town.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Not
So
Debbie
join us
Reynolds.
in 2 weeks for that. I'm very excited. It's going to be the first one. Bear with us if it's a little shaky. I don't think it will be, but it's going to be our first time doing it. So thank you again, you guys, so much. Find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Bombs Away Show. shoot us a review on Spotify, Apple, wherever you watch or listen to your podcasts. We're also on YouTube where we just post the audio. So if that's the way you like to listen to it, find us there. Trying to get more subscribers because once we get 1,000, we have tons of videos. We can start getting ads on our videos.
Ooh.
And that would be very nice. We only need like 350 more, which I know is a lot.
That's actually pretty reachable.
Yeah, but it's not a ton. So 350 more. Bombs Away Show podcast is the YouTube channel because a Bombs Away show is taken already. But yeah, do that. Subscribe, please. It'll help us out a lot. It'll help us improve because that AdSense really, kicks in and stuff like that. So thank you guys so much, and see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
I
Take
the whole world in
my
my
hand.